Welcome to Talk to Seattle. I'm your host, Jason Rigdon, and today we've got someone from Hip Hop Seattle on to come tell us about their project. How are you doing today?
Doing good, Jason. My name is Mansa Silasie. I've been involved in the local music scene just for, just a short period of time compared to others. But, I think that other young creatives as myself can do a lot of things to bring the Seattle hip hop scene to the national forefront.
Well, especially now with the technology we have, like back in the day, you just didn't have this level of power to communicate across the world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was born in '94, so I grew up like having MySpace music and early days of YouTube and stuff like that. So probably the generation before me kind of envies the generation of now because it's so easy to put out music and you don't need to be signed to like any major company or anything. All you need to do is just have some fans, really.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, people would be like, they would put in the mail, CDs and cassettes. Now you can go on to SoundCloud and everyone can hear your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know some people that don't even have a SoundCloud. They just like advertise their music on Instagram and that's it.
So could you tell me a little bit about Hip Hop Seattle as a project?
Yeah, of course. So Hip Hop Seattle is pretty recent. We just started up about third quarter of last year, 2018. And pretty much what we were created to do is be the major, I want to say the major music outlet in Western Washington in general, because I don't want to single out and just say hip hop or something, because there's even like some kind of R&B acts and things like that that are premiered on our pages and that we have interviews with. So basically anything that's really good music, anything that's new and young, that's that whole new wave. That's what we're trying to push it for Seattle, out with the old, in with the new. But we still show respect to those ones that have been doing it for a while. They're still in it to win it with us. But we're trying to, bring some new fresh faces to the scene as well.
But focusing on kind of the local creators.
Exactly, yeah. Specifically those based in this greater Seattle metropolitan area, whatever you want to call it. That's, we even got some people from the other counties, but mostly just Western Washington is what we're focusing on.
And so you've got a YouTube page where you do interviews and play videos?
Yeah, so when it comes to the YouTube page, first we had the Instagram page. We grew that a little bit. It still has a lot farther to go, obviously. But once we started getting a little bit of a fan base on there that engaged with us a lot, we decided to make a YouTube page. And on the YouTube page, we have some exclusive music videos from local artists, as well as some interviews, a lot of original content that you can't really find anywhere else from these other local music media outlets, whatever you want to call them. Respect to all the other ones doing it, but I think that we provide the best content, the best original content. We're not afraid to interact with the artists. If the artist is recording in the studio, if the artist is shooting a music video, or just if they want to hang out with us, we're always welcome. We're not acting like we're a press team or something. We're just young guys hanging out with another young creative, just trying to make this thing work together.
Okay, so it started out on Instagram. Was that kind of the genesis of it?
Exactly. Yeah. Third quarter last year, we started off on Instagram, and it kind of blew up locally. I would say, like pretty much all our engagement comes from local people through the ages of like 16 to 27, maybe. That's what our general demographic is. We could have more of a female audience, but we'll work on that as we go. And once we grew from Instagram, like I said, we went to YouTube to drop interviews, music videos. Podcast is coming March 1st on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and as well as YouTube visually as well. I won't be hosting it myself, but I'll be helping produce it. And the hosts are going to be Andrea, Henry, and my brother Khalid actually is going to be helping out with that too.
Okay, and that's when was that again? Was it March 1st?
Yeah, March 1st, Hip Hop Seattle podcast. Find out on every major podcast outlet. We're going to be advertising it more as we go. But just go on our Instagram page at Hip Hop Seattle, and you'll pretty much see any update that we have.
And are you going to be like playing music, or is it going to be mostly interviews, or just talking about the news?
I don't know if you ever heard of it, but probably like the listeners maybe heard of Everyday Struggle or other shows that report on quote unquote what they say the culture I don't like to use that term, but so yeah, basically we're gonna be just reporting on quote unquote the culture, but it's gonna be just local vibes only. It's gonna be just 206, 253 only, strictly. Artists that are guesting on there are gonna be from this area as well. You know, we're gonna be trying to be getting some no names at first before we give some chances to some newer artists. But yeah, the podcast is gonna be a lot of great content. You know, maybe like 45 to an hour long conversations. We're gonna be rating local music. Uh, you know, rather than just being harsh critics, we're going to be providing constructive criticism to the artists so that they don't feel like they're getting bashed on by local media, because that's not what we want to seem like.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you want to be supportive and really nurture this art.
Yeah, exactly. Because like the majority of the people that asked to get posted on our page, believe it or not, they're like really young artists, like between the ages of 15 to like maybe 19, and that demographic doesn't, I don't want to say that they don't know what they're doing, but their path could be easily like they could be taken the wrong path easily. So you got to make sure that somebody's there to support them. You got to make sure that they stay in the studio to record music. You got to make sure that they also stay in school and all the other positive things that they need to keep doing in their lives to succeed. Because, you know, when it comes to music, it's more than just songs. It's a lifestyle, you know? Music is a way people express their feelings. Music is a way that people communicated before there was languages, I believe. You know, music is just like, you know, it's what people eat, is what people shit, is what people just do day in and day out.
And being local music means you can actually go and see the artist, whereas, you know, people from, you know, far away, you might never actually see them.
Yeah, that's big facts right there. If you know, supporting Drake or Lil Uzi Vert or whoever's popping right now in the mainstream, you know, of course, who knows, maybe one day they'll retweet you or like your DM or whatever, but 99% of the time, you're never going to get any response from your mainstream artist that you're a fan of. So a positive thing about this Hip Hop Seattle page is that local artists been gaining fans from areas around them. So, you know, they'll be getting messages, they'll be getting posts of other people listening to their songs, and that'll make them feel validated. Because I've heard many times in the media from artists that made it on a mainstream level, they never really felt accomplished until their local area acknowledges them. So hopefully we try to give that acknowledgement to them before they, you know, if they do ever blow up into the mainstream level, they know that their city of Seattle was behind them from the beginning, which is a very important thing.
And how have music fans reacted to this project?
I mean, I've gotten really nothing but positive feedback, honestly. You know, nothing feels better than, like, of course you'll get people in the messages saying, can you post this for me? I just dropped a music video. I just dropped an album. Can you promote this for me? That's a normal thing. But what really makes my day is when a person that doesn't even do music, but is just following the page and saying, I appreciate what you're doing. I've never known that there's this many rappers, there's this many R&B singers in my city. I didn't know that there's as many black musicians in general in Seattle. To be honest, I didn't even know that myself before I started working on this project. I thought Seattle was just like a gentrified state of music that just died after grunge, and after that, I don't know what kind of music scene it had. So, yeah, we're just trying to like bring a new identity to it. You know, it's not what they think it is. Seattle has a lot of great colored musicians. We're trying to diversify the scene. It's more than Macklemore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely this thing of like connecting people locally. I feel like a lot of stuff on the internet kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of destroyed local communities. And now I think we're seeing people kind of really trying to rebuild it and connect each other. Yeah,
exactly. Especially when it comes to urban music in Seattle, it's been divided by many boundaries over the past few years. I don't want to like get into any specifics because I don't know all of them, to be honest, or how it happened. But you know, like certain artists from certain areas will not collaborate with certain artists from a certain area, and when they do, certain things get said. So, but lately I've been seeing that like with the newer generation of artists, like the younger ones, like I was saying, they don't really like have any biases or anything when it comes to collaborating locally. Like, you know, for example, like Lil Mosey. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's like the 16-year-old kid from North Seattle that blew up on a mainstream level like in the last year or so. So, and he'd been collaborating with like an underground rap group in Tacoma called MKF. So before, you know, it would sound crazy for a person that blew up into the mainstream to come back and collaborate with the underground artists, not even from Seattle, but all the way down to Tacoma. So you can tell there's a lot more unity in the hearts of the youth when it comes to making music and things like that. And that I could tell it's going to have a positive effect in the future, in the next decade or so. I could see the 2020s having like a whole bunch of Northwest or Washington specific artists being catapulted into the mainstream. I don't see why not.
So you've got the Instagram and the YouTube, and also I saw you've got some playlists for SoundCloud and Spotify.
Yeah, that's correct. So on SoundCloud and Spotify, we have, you know, each playlist on those at least have 100 songs, and specifically people from the Seattle Tacoma area, like I said before. So, you know, on the top, you probably have like the biggest artists of the playlist, like maybe Lil Mosey, R&B artists, Paris Alexa, local Tacoma group MKF. There's a lot of big artists towards the top, but you know, what I want to see is like people work their progression, get more streams, so that I can put them all the way on the top. And this place is doing a lot of successful things for the artists, because they feel like that they're not getting ignored by like any. Because maybe like the other playlists may be ignoring them, maybe not be responding to the emails, maybe they charge a certain amount of money to get on their playlist, but we're not doing that to get on the playlist. We're just, you know, the only question we ask, are you from the area? Yeah. If it's yes, they're on the playlist.
That's awesome. And we're being joined by another guest now. Would you mind introducing yourself?
For sure. My name is Kal Nadi, and I'm the other half of Hip Hop Seattle.
Thank you for coming on the show. So this project is kind of like a two-person deal?
Yeah, we had the inspiration together when we were just consuming a lot of different media, and we wondered why there wasn't a large publication that was willing to sift through and actually listen to people's music, and we wanted to change that.
So you guys are curating the music? Curating,
you could say that, but you could say more like a tastemaker. But rather than being a gatekeeper, there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens here in the Northwest. We want to try to create bridges amongst different groups and different areas of talent that we see flourishing, but for whatever reason, they may have hit a wall, or they may need a little more to get to that next level. And a lot of artists, you know, are introverted. They're thinking more on their art, more on their craft. So it's kind of hard for them to network and communicate with those that can, you know, just get their art heard in the first place.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. You know, interviewing musicians is kind of like notoriously difficult. Do you have any problems with that?
Any problems? To be honest, the hardest part about it is just trying to come up with some questions that are engaging for the audience as well as the artists themselves. I haven't faced any issues with any of these artists. Surprisingly, everyone's been extremely humble. They've been really appreciative just to have a chance to connect with their fans at a deeper level than just like an Instagram post or like a music video will do for you.
Yeah, I watched the conversations. It seems like they're very on. Like I was kind of thinking when you're saying about them being more introverted that, you know, it might be hard to kind of bring them out of their shell to really engage, but it doesn't seem like it on the videos.
No, we make sure the artists are in a very comfortable space. None of the questions we ask are a detriment to their brand or who they may be as people. Everything is more of a uplift. Like the spotlight is on you. Like I start off every interview by thanking them for taking their time to come today, and then before they leave, you know, I make sure that they know that we're appreciative. Just so the understanding is that it's a benefit to everyone. Not only are they benefiting us by giving us content that we can give to our audience, but they're also getting, you know, people can get to know them at a deeper level and more intimate level. And
do you have any plans for the future for this project? Is there any new things coming up?
Plenty of new things, Jason. We have so many ideas. We wanted to set up the foundation first, do what we can at the moment, but soon as more opportunities open up with themselves, we're getting to know a lot more artists, which means a lot more opportunities are being made. You know, like we have an event this 15th at the at the Baltic Room in Seattle. It's a collaboration event with Hip Hop Seattle and FYE Mob Entertainment. They're like another promotion team in Seattle, and we made a post on our Instagram page allowing the locals to tag their favorite artists. And we had a deadline on how long the voting was open for the polls. We ended the polls, and the top 3 votes created from the audience is who we're having perform this 15th. So we're just trying to get a lot more, a lot more engagement from the people that live here. And if you have love for an artist, or you have somebody that you care for, and you're wondering like how you can show support, this is an opportunity for everybody to do more. Fans can show more support. They can rep what artists that they like. We will have more opportunities, more events hosted for these artists to perform in front of a larger audience who may not know them. So it's kind of like we're like just like farmers in the field growing the seeds, and when the crops are ready to be harvested, and there's going to be more things. But by that, what I mean, we're trying to do like a festival down the line too. Hip Hop Seattle Festival. We're going to try to make it like a yearly thing, just so people here can have something that they can look forward to. Kind of like Rolling Loud. If you know what Rolling Loud is, it's a really big concert series. They have like they have one in Miami. They have one somewhere on the West Coast, and they just get a bunch of upcoming artists to come, and then people can come see the upcoming artists. And we want to have something like that here in the Northwest. A lot of times when people do these big, huge tours with like a bunch of these extravagant list of amazing artists, no one ever comes here. And there's definitely enough talent. There's so many people making quality music that we should have something like that. So that's basically what we're moving towards, just the exposure, more exposure for the talent that is here. And we're hoping that we can just create a level of unity and understanding. You don't have to be afraid of somebody down the street making music from you. They're not going to take anything away from you, for you to take your time and just to listen.
I was going to say, it's kind of sad when people kind of are stuck in that scarcity mentality, and they don't think there's enough to go around.
Definitely. And there's enough for all of us to eat and eat good.
And so if an artist wants to get a hold of you, and what would they do?
If an artist wants to get a hold of either me or Mansa, it's as simple as just DMing the Hip Hop Seattle page, or just shooting us an email. And we're pretty fast with responding. We'll get to you as soon as possible, and just see what we can do.
Wow, that's awesome. So it's like just so very little friction. Once again, that's why it's so good dealing with people who are local, because you actually get a response.
Yeah. In the beginning of the page, there weren't as many people responding, but as they've seen what the page has become and what is becoming, what it's still turning into, a lot more people are realizing that we're here for them. We're not in it for ourselves. There's a lot of other publications that are in Seattle, or a lot of other pages that are in Seattle that kind of show favoritism to one type of music or a specific group of people, but that's not us. We care about hip hop, and we care about the artists, being artists ourselves. We just want to see the music scene here in the Northwest become what it should be.
Well, if people want to follow you or find more information, where should they go?
If they want to follow myself, they can follow me on my personal page, Kal Nadi ITM. That's KALNADI.ITM. And if they want to follow Mansa, they can reach him at Mansa Silasie, MANSA SILASIE. And they can definitely add Hip Hop Seattle for all their media needs.
Yeah, and I'll make sure I have all the links in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
I appreciate you, Jason.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, would you please hit that like button? And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Talk2Seattle, so please follow us there if you want. You can also subscribe to the podcast version of this show on any podcast client. Just search for Talk2Seattle. Once again, thank you so much for watching.